welcome to the studios of Wild Treasures of an Outdoorsman. My name is Peter Updike, and tonight I want to thank everyone that showed up, came out to the Wild Turkey Extravaganza. We had a really great time, and I think I sold close to 18 copies of Wild Treasures of an Outdoorsman. I'm real happy with that. Thank you so much for all those that purchased a copy. I gave 2 copies away, and it was a great time. I also sold out. I've got one left that I saved for myself. I also sold out of the Phantom buck tracks. I gave a few of those away as well, and those are a cool item. And I got some gifts from subscribers that showed up. I got a box of shotgun shells, and Kevin Vaughn, thank you for the shotgun shells. Kevin Vaughn from Spring King Calls came by the booth there and gifted me with one of his slate calls. And I'm real happy to get that. Just been running it a little bit. I'm gonna have to get accustomed to it, but sounds pretty good. He makes some great calls. That's Kevin Vaughn, again, with Spring King Calls. If you don't have a slate call and would like an artistic, handcrafted, I guess they call this a pot call, slate call, pot call, I don't know what you call it. But it comes with a striker, and it's a crystal, I guess is what they call this one. But I'm going to use it. Thanks, Kevin. I really appreciate it. Again, that's Kevin Vaughn. You can go on the internet. Kevin Vaughn, he's got a website, Spring King Calls. Look him up. Maybe you'd be interested. Anyway, we had a great visit, and a lot of people came out and had some topics there that we had discussed. I wanted to run some of those topics past you. I'm going to do a traditional turkey hunting video coming up for our celebration of spring gobbler season that's just on the horizon, and I'm looking forward to it. In some places we got about a month, some places a little longer, but I'm becoming aware of hunters that have no idea that there's actually a traditional way to call and hunt wild turkeys, and this goes for anywhere in the country that you might be hunting wild turkeys. Of course, I'm from Florida, and I hunt in Florida, and I hunt in the Florida flatwoods and swamps. And I'm going to touch on the subject. I want to do a complete video on traditional turkey hunting and how I learned how to do it. I'll touch on that. I got a cassette tape in, I suppose it was like 1998, 99. I got a cassette tape done by a turkey hunter named Ben Rogers Lee. And I listened to that cassette tape over and over and over again, and it was my very window into traditional turkey hunting. I got this idea because I had a subscriber ask me, can you hunt turkeys from a tree stand? And I think he saw my reaction, I was appalled at the very notion. So he just said, I just don't know. And with all of the media that's out there and videos, you'd think, but I'll go through it step by step on a video. I'll make the video maybe over the weekend and post it coming up this spring gobbler season. And we'll touch on public land turkey hunting, and we'll touch on traditional turkey hunting, and what I think that process should be, from scouting to gear to calling, setup, and hopefully maybe bagging your bird. Okay, you'll need to pack a bunch of patience with you when you go turkey hunting on public land. Okay, and we'll talk about that as well. But tonight I want to just discuss some of the topics that we talked about with other subscribers at the Turkey Extravaganza. And one of the topics that we talked about was the dates on the WMA, the rules and regulations, and why the deer hunting dates are different from management area to management area. And then there's a lot of different aspects. There's a lot of different management areas in in Florida. We have what we call multi-use management areas where other parties, other interests are using the management area that you might be deer hunting. You need to take note of the management area that you're deer hunting and find out what those other interests are, like bike riders, kayakers, bird watchers, horseback riders. The list goes on and on. Some of these management areas don't have any of that, and some of them have a lot. All depends on what management area you're talking about. So you would need to know where the horse trails are, the bike trails are. You would need to know where the hiking trails are to avoid those areas. And yeah, sometimes it takes a little bit of homework. I really don't like going into a management area blind. Obviously, you want to know the dates. So the question was, why do we have different deer hunting dates on different management areas? And the short answer is that hunters in the central part of the state, and hunters in the Panhandle, and hunters in South Florida all got together years ago and went to the FWC and said, hey, look, the rut is different in Richland than it is in Osceola or Big Cypress. All of these areas are different. We are hunting during the slowest time of the season because the management areas are all lumped together. We would like to see a more diverse time to hunt. Now, this was influenced by hunter input. So you can say, it's cockamamie, or why do they have it, or blah, blah, blah. This is because deer hunters petitioned the FWC and said, look, we need to have a later deer season in our neck of the woods. And the FWC listened, right? So the dates in Ocala are different than the dates at Richland or the Green Swamp or Big Cypress or Osceola or Tate's Hell up in the Panhandle. Some of these management areas have hunts in February. Hilochi has a hunt in February. Green Swamp West has hunts in February. And then there are some that have hunts in August. I'm not privy to those because I don't hunt in the summertime. But yeah, early rut is not off the table in Florida. Early rut being August, early September. We've got to have a management area with those dates because it's down there in South Florida. We see bucks chasing does and it's not even hunting season yet. So the short answer to that question, why are our dates so mixed up on different management areas? Well, there you go. That's your answer. It's because of the diverse nature of Florida to have a mixture of rut activity at different times of the year. Okay, so we talked about that a little bit, and also we talked about another topic we touched on. We touched on doe harvest. I had a subscriber tell me that he saw a doe during the archery season and was tempted to take that deer because it was legal to shoot does in that management area, but he deemed the deer to be too young, too small, and he believes someone else shot that deer, that he has evidence from observation and saw it at the check station that he believes that it's the same deer. Now, I don't know, okay, but he was troubled by the notion that he felt if he wanted to kill a deer, that it was important for him to shoot whatever deer came. And of course, in some of our management areas, I do not participate in doe harvest, okay, in management areas that don't have a doe permit. In other words, if you go to Lake George or Green Swamp or Gothi Wildlife Management Area, you'll notice that you can kill does in those management areas throughout all of the archery season, which is about a 30-day season. And I think you can do it in the Green Swamp. I think you can do it in Lake George. And I think you can do it in Osceola. And I think you can do it in Gothi, that you can shoot a doe or an antlerless deer. Even a little buck that's not even a year old with little bitty antlers, they're legal for reasons I don't understand. They say it is to keep someone who accidentally shoots a young buck, believing it was antlerless, from breaking the law. And if it's 5 inches or more, well, then he's not legal. But if he's under it, it's cockamamie. I know, I get it. But yeah, I am coming to the belief that we are hurting our deer hunting with unlimited doe harvest on these management areas. Unlimited doe harvest in the realm of during the archery season, unchecked, no doe permits required. You could just go and shoot an antlerless deer, even a young buck. And when I called, and I actually did this, and voiced my concerns with a biologist, her first response was, Mr. Updike, I know and I understand, but the position for the state of Florida is we want to provide hunting opportunities for those that want to shoot antlerless deer. That you've heard the old saying, you can't eat antlers. Well, there's a group out there that only want meat, so they can hunt during the archery season. So the state's response to that, okay, is we want to provide for these people that have the idea or the belief that they only want meat. They're not concerned with antlers. All of this came out in the conversation, all right, and I'm just conveying it to you. I personally care about our management areas, and I care about the doe harvest, but I don't let it affect my hunting thought process. In other words, I'm going to go anyway, even though if the state of Florida awards me with a doe permit for let's say Seminole. If they award me with a doe permit, I'm going to take a doe on that 3-day hunt. But I'm probably not going to go to Lake George and harvest a doe. I know guys in there have been killing does in there, and all of a sudden they're not killing any does. They're wondering where all the deer. Well, there you go, okay? That's where your deer went. And the state believes, and they're probably right, that the deer hunters will never eliminate all of the deer in that deep, thick swamp in Osceola, Green Swamp. There'll always be deer there, no matter what the archery season. Every year during the archery season in Green Swamp, they kill a certain number of does year after year after year. So it seems to be sustainable. But believe you me, and I believe this with my whole heart, it is hurting our deer hunting. It is making our deer hunting harder. Fewer deer. The does are the machine that drive the combine. They are the engine that drives the combine. Without that engine, we're not going anywhere. We're not harvesting anything, right? And we're taking does legally. 30 days, 100 hunters, all out there trying to get their does. Well, what do you think is going to happen? Anyway, this fellow was concerned about it, and we talked about it, and this is exactly what we talked about. He showed restraint and wondered if he had made a big mistake. And I told him, no, you didn't make a big mistake. We're all on this journey. This journey does have a destination, and that destination is success, and we all want to get there. But I don't know if success is found in a 60-pound, 10-month-old deer. And that's what a lot of these deer are being taken. They don't know they're going to be killed. They're just walking up to a guy in a tree. And yeah, I've done it. I've killed deer with my bow of does, and they had no idea that they were fixing to die. And yeah, I'm just not up for it anymore. That's the rules. That's the law. I can live with it, and I can live with not criticizing people that take those kinds of deer. But I'm not exactly on board either. Okay. All right. So with that is the doe harvest, and then we talked about scouting for turkeys. And one thing that we did talk about was that hunters go out on public land. Many times they'll go scouting and they'll take their turkey calls with them. And they'll try to locate a gobbler. If you want to try and locate a gobbler while looking for turkeys, the best way to do it is with a crow call or a hoot owl call or a crow call. If you use the slate call, the box call, the diaphragm call before the season starts, and I shared this with this fella, if you find a gobbler, you are turning down the volume on his desire meter. You're turning down the amperage on his desire meter. In other words, his desire will be high when he first hears you call. And then you call a second time and he gobbles, and then do that 2 or 3 times, pretty soon you've got a bird that won't come in. Pretty soon you've got a bird that will not respond. Public land hunting is hard enough as it is. If you want to try to locate a gobbler, do not call to him with turkey calls until you're ready to shoot him. And yeah, I was asked, so that's my advice. Take your crow call with you, take your hoot owl call with you, and see if you can get a shot gobble out of him. But to call to him with your box call when you're not even hunting, inoculates that deer, that turkey, from especially if he comes in and he sees you standing there. That's a turkey that nobody's going to kill. So, and it might very well be you. So avoid doing that. And we talked about it. Avoid doing it. I always look for tracks on the dirt road. I look for tracks on the dirt road. And if I can find, I've been places on public land where I saw so many tracks I couldn't believe it. And I sat down to call, and I never called in a single bird. I don't know what's up with that. It's just the way it is, right? So keep looking for tracks and keep listening for those gobbles. Get out there and scout it out. And I've heard birds gobble in places that I've never even seen a track. So yeah, who knows? Okay, so the next topic we talked about was where can I go turkey hunting without a quota permit? Now, you can find out where you can go turkey hunting without a quota permit very easily. Go to the FWC website. Go to the hunting, click on hunting. Now, there will come up a little graph, a questionnaire. What season are you looking to hunt on? You click on that season, it'll scroll down to turkey. Click on turkeys. It says how many miles from your house do you want to go? And you click on 17 miles or 25 miles or 30 miles or whatever the number may be. And you click on how many miles you want to travel from your home. And then it'll ask you if you have a quota permit, no, with a quota permit or not without a quota permit. Not without a quota permit. Click on that and it'll show you all of the management areas within that mile radius from where you live. They'll ask you for your zip code and will tell you where you can go turkey hunting without a quota permit. Now, right off the top of my head, Osceola, up in the Panhandle, not in the Panhandle, but in the northern part of the state, up by Interstate 10. Last time I checked, did not require a quota permit. All of these are last time I checked. Jumper Creek did not require a quota permit. Now, the thing you got to be careful of is, like in Richland. Richland has a 9-day quota permit, and when you use that system on the FWC page, I noticed that it will come up that you don't need one, but you need one for the first 9 days. Always default to the brochure of the management area that you want to hunt, okay? And what else? Lockaloosa does not require a quota permit. I think Cedar Key Scrub does not require a quota permit. So there are several management areas that do not require a quota permit. And Ocala, you have to have one for all of the hunts. Some people think they can just go into Ocala and go turkey hunting because it's turkey season. You must always check the brochure. Never use the state rules to determine whether or not you can go hunting on a management area. Always go to the brochure, okay? And that way you'll know exactly what you can and cannot do. All right, so I hope this helps you. Again, we're going to do a video on traditional turkey hunting and my process and how I go and have a successful hunt. That is to hear gobbles, to go out and to hunt without encountering any other hunters, avoiding other hunters at all costs. That's what I do. All right, we love you guys again. Thanks a lot for everyone that came out to the spring turkey extravaganza. Thanks, Kevin Vaughn, for the great slate call. I can't wait to try it. Sounds great. Appreciate it. All right, love you guys. Talk to you soon. See you. Bye.